Hi, this is Justin. Okay, so I've set the scene with what I want to achieve. Now it's time to talk about the actual scale of the work that we have to do for my project and for your project. So I'm going to talk about the principles, and there's 7 or 8 of them in terms of the steps that we have to go through to turn our idea into an actual finished script. I'm using, as I've talked about a lot, Blake Snyder's principles from his brilliant book Save the Cat, and also from the second book, Save the Cat Goes to the Movies, where he actually breaks down genres and the beats that every film has to hit to be successful, so he says, and I'm not going to argue. So, stage 1 is defining what is the movie about. Now that seems simple, and you can see from my previous videos and the source material that I have a big idea of in terms of the plot and the journeys that the characters have to go through. But for this stage, when we're defining what is it about, it has to be in one line, one sentence, as if we were at a pitching meeting, and we might use that log line, or one line as it's called, to define our movie and get somebody interested in it. And actually, if you test that out with your friends and people wouldn't want to see that film, then we need to start again. I have the benefit of you guys, so I'm going to try and, when I get to that stage, which will be probably after this video, I have to make it compelling, and I don't have the luxury of explaining about the tombstones, the main characters, the journey that he's on, all of the dialogue between him and John Clement, and all of these other characters that he meets. I have to do it in one sentence. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is defining the genre. Now, as a writer, when I think of genre, I think of science fiction, fantasy. I've already described this story as a supernatural thriller, but that's not what Blake is talking about when he defines the genre. He believes that every single movie, right back to the start of Hollywood, can fit within 10 genre types. As an example, I've used the term from Blake's book Monster in the House, where there is a creature or something or some menace that is attacking the main protagonists, and they are stuck in a place, whether it's a house or a spaceship or a town, and they have to defeat the creature. However, there is 9 others that I have to consider, and actually reading it again, I'm not sure Monumental Words is actually a Monster in the House story, but we'll talk about those 10 genres when we get to that stage. Stage 3 is looking at our main character and making sure that the character serves the story and not the other way around. That's interesting to me because I often start a story based on a character or a scenario that's happening to that character, and then I build a story around that character. Here, I have to make some changes, probably. And I've already talked about turning Peter into an atheist, because I feel that that's going to be one of the main conflicts that he faces during this discovery and this task that he's going through and finding out the mystery of this graveyard. So, part 3, looking at our character or our characters. Stage 4, and this is the chapter I got to when I was reading Save the Cat, where I thought, I've just, not wasted my time writing 60 pages of my script, but I needed to know this stuff before I wrote a single word. Blake believes that every single movie has to hit 15 beats, from the setup at the start to the actual final image. And it's quite interesting to look at the stages and where they sit, down to the page number for every single successful movie. So that's going to be quite a challenge as well. So stage 5 is the setup of our movie board, and I'm really excited about that. I've bought all my pieces from Staples. I've got my board, I've split it into 4 acts. I've even written out the index cards with each scene. Now, bearing in mind we've just previously understood the 15 beats that we have to hit, we can map out all of our scenes, move them around, make sure that to the page number and to the where we are in terms of the 4 acts, that we're hitting those beats. So that's going to be quite a challenge as well. And don't forget, until this stage, we haven't actually written a word of dialogue or started our scripts yet. So that's quite interesting. I think we could almost come up with a synopsis here with a combination of the beats and our scenes. I can kind of map out how I'm going to write my script now, and I'll be much more confident than where I was a week ago. So, stage 5, the board. So by the time I get to stage 6, I've probably written a lot of my script, if not all of my script now. And stage 6 is looking at what Blake calls the physics of a good script, and that includes things like Save the Cat. And Save the Cat, apart from being the title of his book, he came up with that term because he believes that you must have your main character either likable or disliked by the audience. People have to engage with the character and want to see what happens to him for the rest of the film. So he uses the term Save the Cat, and he uses Aladdin as an example. The source material of Aladdin, the main character was not a nice guy. He was a thief, among other things. And in the Disney movie, in the opening scene, we see Aladdin steal some food. He's chased by guards through the city, and he's a thief. But he finds some kids who are starving, and he actually gives them their food. That's the Save the Cat moment. We've bought into Aladdin. We want to see what happens. We like him. Equally, we could have Kill the Cat, which I kind of like because my stuff's quite dark. But that's either something bad happening to one of our characters, so again we empathise, or we want to see what happens, how he resolves it. Or equally, it might be, certainly nowadays in movies, we have a lot of grey characters. They're not likeable, but they do heroic things. Equally, we have heroes that do some pretty nasty things, so that one's going to be interesting for me to explore. So that's stage 6, the physics of a great script. So stage 7 are 6 tips or fixes for ensuring that we have written a great movie. Now, we might be happy with our script, or we might feel that something's not quite gelling, or it's not resonating enough, or it's not engaging enough. Here Blake defines 6 easy fixes. Even if we think the script is great, they're worth reviewing, just to go back and say, have we hit the mark there, or could we actually develop that more? So that's going to be quite interesting. And the final stage is actually selling the thing, and there's some good tips in there. We may try and get a script doctor to take a look at the script and make sure that that somebody else believes that we're hitting the mark. So that might be a choice I make, or I might just try and sell it. But I'm going to share every step of the way with you guys. Somewhere in there, in those 7 or 8 steps, I've actually got to write the thing, and that's when the scale of this project sort of hit me. I haven't even got, oh yeah, I've got to write a movie in between all doing all those things and playing with the board and moving scenes around and understanding beats and doing some research and even making these videos. Oh yeah, I am actually supposed to be writing a film, so I better crack on. So let's go.